Excuses are liars. I'm tired. I'll start tomorrow. It's too hard. They sound comforting, but they cost you your future. Every excuse you obey steals progress you could have made. Stop defending your excuses. Start defending your goals. If you don't control yourself, everything else will control you. Life doesn't wait for you to figure it out. If you refuse to step up, it will hand you over to distractions, temptations, and impulses. Think about it. The alarm goes off. Do you get up or do you let the snooze button dictate your day? When you avoid responsibility, when you drift through life, when you let habits run unchecked, you're not free, you're chained. Real control doesn't come from outside forces. It comes from inside discipline. If you don't decide what your day looks like, your day will decide for you. If you don't set the standard for your life, the world will set it for you. And let me tell you, the world doesn't care about your dream. That's why the choice is simple. Take control of yourself or surrender control to everything else. Let's be honest, too many people are ruled by excuses. Excuses are comfortable, excuses are easy, and excuses always sound convincing in the moment. I'm tired. I'll start tomorrow. It's too hard. But ask yourself, who's really in charge here? You or your excuses? Every time you let an excuse win, you hand over a piece of your future. You hand over progress you could have made. Imagine your life as a courtroom. On one side, your goal. On the other side, your excuses. Which one do you keep defending? Which one do you keep giving power to? Winners don't let excuses run the show. Winners wake up, even when it hurts. Winners push forward, even when it's uncomfortable. If you want freedom, if you want results, you must take back the authority you've been giving away. Stop letting excuses write your story. Step up, take charge. Every single day, you fight a battle. It's not against other people. It's not against the world. It's against distraction. The temptation to check your phone, to waste hours scrolling, to choose comfort over progress. It's there every single day. And here's the truth. Discipline is your only weapon. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline doesn't negotiate. Discipline gets the work done, whether you're motivated or not. Distraction whispers, one more video, one more hour, one more day. Discipline shouts, do it now, do it anyway, do it until it's done. Which voice do you listen to? Because your future is built on that choice. Discipline builds the foundation of success. Distraction tears it down piece by piece. Every moment you give in to distraction is a moment stolen from your destiny. This is not just a choice, it's a war. And the side you choose determines your life. Picture your life as a car. You're supposed to be the driver. But what happens when you let fear, laziness, or doubt take the wheel? You crash. And that's exactly what too many people do. They hand over the steering wheel of their lives. They let bad habits steer their mornings. They let fear steer their decision. They let comfort steer their future. And then they wonder why they keep ending up in the wrong places. If you're not holding the wheel, you're not in control. It's that simple. Taking control means grabbing the wheel firmly and deciding where you're going. It means refusing to let excuses, distractions, or fear drive you into dead ends. The road of life doesn't give you shortcuts. It gives you choices. And the choice is clear. Take back the wheel or crash again and again. Control or be controlled. That's the truth. Most people think control is about dominating others, about having power, about calling the shots. But let me tell you the truth. Real control starts with you. It's not about managing what's around you. It's about mastering what's inside you. Your thoughts, your emotions, your impulse. Because if you can't lead yourself, you'll never lead anything else. You could have money, influence, talent, but if you can't say no to your worst impulses, you'll lose it all. Think of the people you admire, the ones who stay calm under pressure, who stay focused when chaos hits. That's self-control, that's power, and it doesn't come from luck. It comes from relentless self-mastery. You don't need to control people. You need to control the way you react to them. You don't need to control outcomes. You need to control the effort you put in. And once you take full responsibility for your behavior, no blaming, no excuses, that's when your life starts to shift. That's when power begins. Your mind is like a wild horse, powerful, unpredictable, untamed. If you learn how to ride it, it can take you to incredible places. But if you don't, it will run you straight off a cliff. How many times have you been dragged by your own thoughts? One negative idea turns into a spiral. One doubt becomes a storm. One worry ruins your whole day. That's what happens when you let the horse run free. But here's the beauty. You can train it. Every time you choose a better thought, every time you stop and breathe before reacting, every time you redirect your focus, you're putting the reins back in your hand. Look at any elite performer, athletes, CEOs, soldiers. They've learned to tame the mind, not by magic, by repetition, by discipline. They don't wake up feeling strong. They train themselves to be strong. If you don't ride your mind, it will ride you, and you won't like where it takes you. So start now, pull the reins, take the lead. Most people confuse freedom with doing whatever they want, but that's not freedom. That's chaos. That's the illusion. You want to stay up all night, eat what you want, skip the gym, avoid the hard things that feels like freedom in the moment. But where does it lead? Regret, weakness, guilt. That's not freedom. That's being a prisoner to your feelings. Discipline is real freedom. Discipline means saying no now so you can say yes later to a life you're proud of. It means showing up when it's hard so you can look back without regret. Discipline creates structure, and structure creates peace. Think about a plane. You can't just fly it any way you want. It needs direction, control, rules. And because of that, it can go anywhere. Your life works the same way. No rules, no flight. But with discipline, you soar. So ask yourself, do you want comfort now or freedom later? Because the truth is, one will cancel the other. Every thought is a seed. Every action is a vote. Every habit is a blueprint. You are literally building your future, one decision at a time. You can't control the weather. You can't control the economy. You can't control how others treat you, but you can control your response. And that's everything. You choose what thoughts you accept. You choose whether you act on them. You choose what habits you build. And those choices, repeated daily, shape your identity. Want to change your life? Start with your thoughts, then build habits that match the life you want. Over time, your mind, your routine, and your results begin to align. Look around. The people you respect didn't get there by accident. They designed their lives. They chose control. They made sacrifices, created habits, and stuck to them even when nobody was watching. So here's the truth. If you don't control your thoughts will control. If you don't control your habits will control you. And if you don't take ownership of your future, don't expect it to take care of you. Laziness doesn't shout, it whispers. It tells you you deserve a break before you've even earned it. It creeps in quietly, convincing you that tomorrow is a better time to start, that next week will somehow feel easier, that you're just not in the mood right now. Let me tell you something. Laziness is a liar. It disguises itself as comfort, but it costs you everything. Every dream you put off, every goal you delay, every moment you waste adds up, and by the time you notice, it's already stolen years. Laziness doesn't ruin your life in one blow. It kills slowly. One skipped workout, one snoozed alarm, one task left on, one lie you tell yourself that it's okay. But here's the truth. Your future doesn't care how tired you feel. Your potential doesn't wait for your mood to change. If you want control, you have to show up even when you don't feel like it. So the next time laziness whispers in your ear, you whisper back, not today. We live in the age of noise, phones buzzing, notifications lighting up, endless scrolling, constant entertainment, and most of it isn't helping you. It's stealing from you. Distractions are thieves. They don't just take your time, they take your focus, your creativity, your purpose, and the worst part, you let them in. You hand them the key every time you choose. TikTok over training, Netflix over progress, comfort over commitment. Let me ask you, how many hours have you given to things that gave you nothing back? Be honest, because that's time you will never get again. Time that could have been used to build a business, learn a skill, get in shape, heal your mind, but instead you gave it away. Distractions don't show up looking like danger. They come disguised as fun, as just a few minutes, but those minutes turn into hours, and those hours turn into regret. Take your time seriously, set boundaries, guard your focus, like your life depends on it. Because it does. Fear will keep you from even trying. Doubt will convince you that you're not enough. Together they form invisible chains, and the worst part, most people wear them willingly. You're not stuck, you're scared, you're not incapable, you're uncertain, and because of that you hesitate. You settle for average, even when greatness is within reach. Fear says, what if you fail? But here's the better question. What if you don't try? What if you stay the same? That's the real danger. Doubt says you're not ready, but let me tell you, nobody feels ready. Champions weren't born with confidence. They built it by taking action. Through the fear, they felt the nerves, the pressure, the anxiety, and they moved anyway. Fear is a feeling. Doubt is a thought. Neither has the power to control you unless you give it to. So stop waiting to feel fearless. That day may never come. Instead, act with fear. Move with doubt. Break the chains. The most dangerous voice in your life isn't the critic. It's not your boss. It's not your past. It's you when you talk yourself down. Negative self-talk is poison. It sounds like I'm not good enough. I always mess up. I'll never change. And the more you say it, the more you believe it. That belief becomes identity, and identity drives behavior. Let me be clear, you are not your mistakes. You are not your failure. You are not your past. You are who you decide to become next. So if your inner voice is dragging you down, it's time to change the script. Start speaking with power, not lies. Truth. Start saying, I'm not perfect, but I'm capable. I'm learning. I've been through worse and made it. Look at any successful person. They all had moments of doubt, but they refused to let that voice be the loudest one. They replaced it with one of strength. Your voice should be your greatest weapon, not your greatest enemy. Use it to lift, use it to build, use it to fight. Discipline is not punishment, it's protection. It's the guardrail that keeps your life from spinning off the edge. Without it, you're drifting, you're reacting, you're getting pulled in every direction by your mood, by your environment, by other people's opinion. And when life hits, and it will, you crash. Let me tell you something, discipline saves you long before motivation shows up. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the engine. Motivation disappears on a rainy Monday. Discipline stays when you're tired, when you're stressed, when nobody's watching. You know someone who's fallen off course. Maybe it's someone close. Maybe it's you. It didn't happen all at once. It happened slowly, when the guardrails were ignored, when discipline was replaced with distraction, when standards were lowered one excuse at a time. But here's the good news. You can rebuild those guardrails, one habit at a time, one decision at a time. And when you do, your path becomes clearer. You move with purpose, not pressure. Discipline doesn't box you in. It keeps you from break. Every day you walk down one of two roads, the road of discipline or the road of impulse. One leads to growth, the other to regret. One is uphill, but it's solid. The other is easy at first, until you realize it's a dead end. Impulse says, do it later. Discipline says, do it now. Impulse says, skip the workout. Discipline says, get up anyway. Impulse is loud and tempting. Discipline is quiet, but consistent. Think about it. How many times have your impulses robbed you? The impulse to quit, the impulse to speak in anger, the impulse to take the shortcut. Those moments feel small, but they shape everything. Now look at the greats, champions, creators, leaders. They didn't follow impulse. They followed a standard. They followed discipline, even when no one was watching. The difference between success and failure, it's not talent, it's not luck, it's which path you choose. Every single day, you either choose discipline, or you let impulse choose for you. One builds your life, the other breaks it. It sounds like a contradiction. How can discipline be free? Because it frees you from chaos. It frees you from regret. It frees you from weakness, from guilt, from wasted time. You want to feel confident, earn it through discipline. You want peace of mind, build it through structure. You want power in your life, take it through action, repeat it daily. Discipline isn't about control for control's sake. It's about choosing your future, choosing to become who you were meant to be, not who the world tells you to be. Think about someone like David Goggins. That man didn't become who he is through he became unbreakable through discipline, through doing what most people refuse to do, the hard things. And because of that, he lives free, free from excuses, free from weakness, free from the ordinary. So stop saying I want freedom and start choosing it. Because every time you wake up early, every time you push through resistance, every time you keep your word, you are building power. Discipline is not the enemy, it's the key. Discipline isn't built overnight, it's built daily, quietly, in the small moments you don't wake up one day and suddenly become unstoppable. You build that strength one rep at a time, one decision at a time. Make your bed, finish your workout, turn off distractions, stick to your word. These aren't just habits, they're evidence that you're not the same person you used to be. You know why most people don't stick to discipline? Because they think they have to overhaul their entire life in one day. That's not how it works. It starts with one win, one promise kept, and that builds momentum, that builds trust with yourself. And when you trust yourself, you're dangerous in the best way. Look at people who turned their lives around. It started with the little things, small wins, big mindset shift, massive results. So don't wait for the big moment. Create it by winning today. Stack the small wins, because when you do, big wins become inevitable. Your mind is like a radio. It's always broadcasting something. The question is, which station are you tuned into? The one that plays fear, doubt, and negativity on repeat, or the one that speaks strength, focus, and belief? Every day, thoughts fly through your head. Some inspire, some destroy, some are yours, some are echoes from your past, from other people, from failure, from pain. But here's the truth. You get to choose the volume. You get to change the channel. You wake up with a choice. You can let your mind drift to worry, to frustration, to distraction, or you can direct it, tune it to something higher, something powerful, something intentional. This isn't about pretending life is perfect. It's about training your brain to focus on what matters. Because where your mind goes, your life follows. People who succeed don't have fewer negative thoughts. They've just learned how to switch the station. They've learned to catch the noise and replace it with clarity. So the next time your mind starts drifting towards self-doubt or excuses, don't just sit there. Grab the dial, shift the frequency, control the message, and you'll control the outcome. Your thoughts can either fuel you or chain you. And if you don't learn to master your thoughts, they will master you. That's not a maybe. That's a fact. Have you ever let one thought ruin your whole day? One mistake turns into I'm a failure. One rejection turns into I'm not good enough. That's not reality. That's an undisciplined mind, running wild. Let me tell you something. You are not your thoughts. You are the one observing your thoughts. That means you have power. The power to question, to challenge, to redirect. Take any champion athletes, entrepreneurs, survivors. They all learned how to take control of their inner world, not because their minds were always positive, but because they refused to let one bad thought spiral into self-sabotage. Mental mastery starts with awareness. Notice the thought, question it, replace it, over and over again, until your default mindset is one of strength, not fear. You don't have to believe everything your brain says, especially the things that shrink you. So start thinking like the person you're becoming, not the one you're trying to escape. Emotions are powerful, but they're not supposed to be in charge. You are. Anger, fear, frustration, anxiety. They're normal, but letting them control your decisions, that's when everything falls apart. Think about it. How many relationships have been ruined by one angry outburst? How many opportunities missed because someone panicked instead of pausing? How many dreams delayed because of self-doubt? Let me be clear. Feeling emotions is not weakness. Letting them control your life is. You want to be strong? Learn to pause. Learn to breathe before you learn to respond instead of react. That's not soft. That's self-control. Look at top performers. They feel pressure. They feel fear. But they know how to regulate. They know that acting on impulse can cost everything. So they train themselves to stay calm, stay focused, and stay grounded. Even in chaos, you can do the same. Start with one reaction, one emotion, one trigger. Practice awareness. Learn to step back. Ask, is this how the strongest version of me would act? Because once you master your emotions, they stop holding you hostage. And that's when you rise. You can't control the weather. You can't control traffic. You can't control what people say or how they treat you, but you know what you can control: your response. That's your power. That's your superpower. Life is unpredictable. Pain will come. Challenges will test you, but your response, that's yours, always. You get to decide, do I shrink or rise? Do I react or respond? Do I break or rebuild? Look at Viktor Frankl, who survived the Holocaust. He lost his family, his freedom, everything. But he said this: everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. If he could choose his response in a concentration camp, you can choose yours in traffic, in heartbreak, in disappointment, in failure. Response is where strength is born, not in perfect conditions, but in chaotic ones. So stop trying to control the uncontrolled. Stop wasting energy on things outside your reach. Instead, master your response. Choose courage. Choose action. Choose to rise, no matter what. Let me make something clear. Your habits are not small. They are every action you repeat is casting a vote for the kind of person you're becoming, and over time those votes stack up. They become identity. At first, You create your habits. You choose to scroll instead of study. You choose to sleep instead of train. You choose to gossip instead of build. But after a while, those choices become default settings, and suddenly, you're not deciding anymore. You're just living out what you've built. That's the danger and the opportunity, because the same process that creates failure can create greatness. The same repetition that builds excuses can build discipline. Look around you. People who live with excellence don't rely on motivation. They rely on habits. They don't wake up every day feeling like it. They've trained themselves to do it anyway. So ask yourself, what habits are you creating today? Because those habits are writing your future. One decision at a time, one vote at a time. It starts with a thought, a single moment of choice, but that thought becomes action. That action becomes repetition. That repetition becomes a habit, and eventually, that habit becomes your identity. Think about someone who's always late, always behind, always overwhelmed. That's not just bad luck. It's identity shaped by habit. Now flip it. Think about someone who's always sharp, always composed, always ahead. That didn't happen by chance. It was built, thought by thought, day by day. Your destiny doesn't change overnight. It changes when you change your pattern, when you refuse to live on autopilot, when you start being intentional with the little things. Want to become confident? Start by speaking truth to yourself daily. Want to become healthy? Start by choosing water over soda again and again. Want to become successful? Start by keeping promises to yourself, even the small ones. The key is consistency, because you're not just changing behavior, you're changing belief. And once belief shifts, identity follows. And once identity locks in, you become unstoppable. Every time you make a decision, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become, or the person you've always been. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to vote in the right direction. More often than not, you skip a workout. That's a vote for comfort. You get up early and train. That's a vote for discipline. You waste time scrolling. Vote for distraction. You spend an hour building something. Vote for growth. Let's be real, your life right now is the result of the votes you've cast up until this point. But the future, it's still open, still unwritten, and that should fire you up. You don't need to win with massive actions, just consistent ones. You don't need to be a superhero, just someone who shows up when it counts. Every action counts, every decision is a direction, and if you start casting better votes today, you'll start living a better life tomorrow. So stop saying one time doesn't matter. That's the lie that kills momentum. Instead, remind yourself, this vote matters, because my future is on the ballot. You can't just break bad habits, you have to replace them. You have to swap the poison for the power, because if you don't, that empty space will pull you back in. You scroll your phone because you're bored, so what will you do instead? You binge junk food because you're stressed, so what healthy outlet will you build? You procrastinate because you're overwhelmed, so what structure will you put in place? You can't fight habits with willpower alone, you fight them with design. Create systems that make good habits easier. Environment matters, routine matters, triggers matter. Look at James Clear, author of Atomic Habits. He says it perfectly. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your system. If your environment is built for distraction, don't be surprised when you fail. So take inventory. What habits are poisoning your future? What triggers are pulling you away from who you want to be? Identify them, replace them, and rebuild your system, one upgrade at a time. Remember, habits don't care what you want, they reflect what you do. If you want to win, build habits that make winning automatic. There is a price for everything, and the price of living without self-control, it's your peace, your progress, your potential. You pay for it in anxiety, in regret, in wasted days, and missed chances. You can't drift through life and expect to arrive at success. You can't let your feelings, impulses, or habits take the wheel and expect to like where you end up. A life without control is a life lived in circles, stuck, reactive, exhausted. Think about it. How many times have you said, I'll do better tomorrow? How many goals have you set and never followed through on? That's the cost, not just time but belief. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you lose trust in the one person who matters most. And once that self-trust is gone, everything else starts to crumble. Control isn't just a virtue, it's your foundation. Let me tell you something, regret is heavier than failure. Failure hurts for a moment. Regret lasts a lifetime. It's the pain of what could have been, the echo of chances not taken,
the silent grief of wasted potential.
You'll never meet an old person who regrets being disciplined, but you'll meet plenty who regret drifting, wasting years, letting comfort win, letting fear hold them back. You don't want to be the one who looks back and says, I had the talent, I had the vision, but I didn't have the control. Because potential without discipline is like a Ferrari with no gas. It looks powerful, but it's going nowhere. The harsh truth, you don't get forever. Time is not promised. Every year of no discipline is a year of dreams delayed or destroyed. Don't let I could have been be the sentence that defines your story. Your life is a ship, and if you're not steering it, if you're not actively leading it, then don't be surprised when it crashes, because the waves of life are real. Temptation, pressure, distractions, storms. Without control, you drift. You get pulled by whatever's convenient. You follow the crowd. You chase dopamine instead of discipline. And eventually you hit a wall. You crash into debt, into regret, into bitterness, into burnout. But here's the thing, you were born to be the captain. You were born to lead your life, not just survive it, not to live by default, not to let others write your story. Captains don't always control the sea, but they control the direction. And direction is what saves you when the waves rise. So ask yourself, are you gripping the wheel, or are you letting life push you wherever it wants? Because one leads to freedom, the other leads to failure. This isn't just a motivational idea, this is survival. Because if you don't control your mind, your emotions, your habits, something else, and that something won't care about your future. Control isn't about being perfect. It's about being awake, aware, intentional. Every day you're either training discipline or feeding destruction. There is no neutral, no pause, just choices that build or break. This world is loud. It rewards ease. It promotes comfort. And if you don't fight for control, you'll fall for everything. Trends, excuses, toxic cycles, and eventually you'll lose yourself in the noise. But here's the power, you can take it back. No matter how far you've drifted, no matter how long you've been reactive, you can draw a line in the sand today and say, enough, I take over now. Because this isn't just about success, it's about survival. And the most dangerous thing you can do is lose control of yourself. There's a kind of peace most people will never feel. The peace that comes not from everything being easy, but from knowing you are in control. Not of the world, not of others, but of yourself. You don't realize how loud the world is until you quiet your own chaos. Until you stop chasing comfort, stop reacting, start leading. Suddenly, things change. Your mornings aren't rushed. Your decisions aren't random. Your life doesn't feel out of your hands. That's peace. And it doesn't come from sitting on a beach or meditating in silence. It comes from discipline. Peace is the byproduct of living with intention. And when your mind is no longer at war with your body, when your actions match your values, that's when the noise fades. That's when peace arrives. Because the most powerful calm isn't around you, it's inside you. And you earn it through control. Confidence doesn't come from compliment. It doesn't come from titles or trophies. It comes from consistency, from knowing you've done the work, from keeping your promises, even when nobody's watching. When you control yourself, you stop needing external validation. You don't need everyone to believe in you because you believe in you. That's the kind of confidence that can't be faked. It's built in the dark, forged in effort, sealed through repetition. You want to feel powerful. Stack days where you did what you said you'd do. Stack workouts, stack deadlines, stack discipline, and watch what happens to your posture, your tone, your energy. It changes because you changed. Confidence isn't arrogance. It's proof. It's the echo of a disciplined life. And the more control you take over your decisions, the louder that echo becomes. You don't need a pep talk. You need follow-through. Because when you control your behavior, confidence is automatic. Look around at those you admire. Athletes, creators, leaders. What do they have in common? It's not luck. It's not hype. It's control. Control of their habits. Control of their schedule. Control of their emotions. The world respects those who control themselves. Why? Because it's rare. Because in a world full of excuses, someone with discipline stands out. They finish what others start. They stay when others quit. They rise when others fall. Achievement doesn't belong to the smartest or the most talented. It belongs to the most committed, the most consistent, the most focused, and that only comes from control. Want people to respect you, respect your own time, respect your own word. Show up, shut up, and deliver. Do it again tomorrow, and again the next day. Because when you control your life, results show up, and so does respect, not just from others, but from yourself. Think of your life like a vault. Inside it are your goals, your peace, your legacy, everything you're capable of. But there's only one key that unlocks it all: control. Without it, the vault stays locked. The dreams stay dreams. The potential stays untapped. But once you take control of your time, your energy, your direction, everything starts opening up. You become sharper, more focused, more resilient. Your life stops being random and starts becoming designed. This isn't about perfection, it's about direction. You don't have to be flawless, you just have to be in charge. And the more ownership you take, the more power you feel. The future isn't something you stumble into, it's something you build with intention, brick by brick, habit by habit, win by win. And the master key, it's always been in your hands. Take control, open the vault, claim what's yours. That wraps up section 8. The rewards of taking control. 600. It delivers a powerful payoff, rewarding the emotional investment of earlier sections by showing the listener what becomes possible through discipline. If you can win your morning, you can win your day. And if you can win your days, you can win your life. But it starts first thing, when no one's watching, when the excuses are loud, when the comfort of your bed is pulling you back. That moment is the real battle. Every morning, you face a decision: discipline or delay, purpose or procrastination. And the moment you choose control, everything changes. Wake up early, move your body, feed your mind, own your time before the world pulls at it. Because if you don't take control early, you'll spend the rest of the day reacting. Success doesn't start at the finish line. It starts before sunrise, when you show up for yourself, day after day. Win the morning, own the day, and eventually transform your life. Let me tell you something. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to drag you out of bed. No one is going to force you to work harder, eat better, focus longer, or push further. That's your job. Wishing won't change your life. Waiting won't either. Only doing will. And doing doesn't mean perfection. It means showing up. It means taking the first step, then the second, and the 100th, even when you're tired, even when you're scared. Most people spend their lives hoping things will get better. Few decide to make things better through control, through discipline, through relentless action. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop wishing you were stronger. Start moving, start choosing, start building, because nothing changes until you do. You want to lead, want to earn respect, want to stand out in this noisy, distracted, undisciplined world, then master yourself. Because the world bows, not to noise, not to talent, not to potential, but to consistency, to character, to control. When you walk into a room, fully in control of your actions, your emotions, your time, people notice, because it's rare, because most people are ruled by impulse, but not you. You are different. You've drawn the line, you've raised the standard. You don't chase, you choose. You don't react, you respond. And because of that, you rise. You don't have to control everything in life, but when you control yourself, you can handle anything life throws at you. Self-mastery is not a luxury, it's leadership, it's power, and it's what separates the ordinary from the exceptional. This is your moment, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, now, because the clock is ticking, and every second spent out of control is a second you can't get back. You've heard the truth. You know the cost of staying the same. You've felt the weight of your excuses. Now it's time to rise. Take control of your habits. Take control of your thoughts. Take control of your energy. Take control of your life. No one else can do it for you, but you have everything it takes to do it yourself. The world doesn't need another person who quits when it gets hard. It needs you focused, committed, relentless. So stand up, draw the line, declare it out loud. I will no longer be a slave to my weakness. I will master myself. And from this moment on, you